Yo, welcome to Shaolin Sports. Yo, we break it down. Local heroes and legend everywhere. The brand, Ray, Palmer, and Pete bringing heat to your ears from Shaolin vibes. We gon' conquer our fears. DJ Stevie on the mix. Keep the rhythm tight. From the court to the field, we gon' shine bright. Shaolin Sports. We got the passion. From the streets to the big league, it's the real old fashioned. Tune into the hustle, feel the drive and pride. On this podcast journey, we'll turn the tide.
Hello, Staten Island and the rest of the world, and welcome to the newest episode, the holiday season, the Christmas episode of the Shaolin Sports Podcast. I'm Ray Palmer, working with him. I'm DJ Stevie O, and to my left, rising star, legend in the business, college football legend, and resident expert, Peachy Timmons. Peachy, good to see you, my friend.
Doc, what a great holiday season we had. You know, like you look back at like seeing different family members that you haven't seen a little bit, and you know, I'm not going to say it's a gripe, but I wish there was something to make it simple to text back in one simple fashion of Merry Christmas to people without a million different things of people just want to create group messages of 20 different people on there. And I was a part of maybe about 3 or 4 where I was looking at all the numbers and I'm like, I don't even know these people. But guess what? I'm still going to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and everything else that goes along with it. But it is a very long process, starting from the 24th to the 25th. How many text messages do you think you sent of Merry Christmas, Happy New Year?
Me, zero. As far as me initiating them, sure, zero. Absolutely zero. Now responding to hundreds. You know, just us from work. You know, like just be random work group texts, and you know, it's. People mean the best, but honestly, I think it's a bit much, to be honest. I don't, need the constant especially those with Obama phones, you know, those exploding droid phones, and it ruins the group text, and it's not blue, it's green. I just find the text message to be a bit much. But it is nice to hear from certain people at certain times, especially people you haven't heard from in a long time friends reaching out for the holidays.
Well, my whole thing is we actually don't hear them. It just becomes up a text. And listen, I initiated a few, and it was like, you know, like my brothers, my sisters, and I stopped by the cemetery and I took, you know, a quick picture and I sent it just to like my brothers, my sisters, my aunt. And that was the ones I initiated. But I'll tell you, you wake up that morning, it's like, this is a lot. And I'm not, we all know, I'm not tech savvy and I'm very simple. And I'm like, there's probably 15 different chats that come up. And I'm like, this is what I gotta do. All right, keep it simple. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Well, I'm a high school basketball coach, so I made sure to wish a happy holidays to my players. I make sure I do that. The rest of the people that I'm going to see, the ones I'll see, I'm certainly not going to text. And then the other ones, people from work and other friends and previous. I do hear a lot from former players, and that warms my heart. So if any of you are watching this, those texts I love. Anthony Perello every year is one of my former captains. I hear from a lot of guys who make a point to read. Kevin Davey, a kid I coached at McKee a very long time ago, I haven't spoken to in 25 years. It was actually a social media post. He wrote me the nicest thing ever I've read. So Kevin, it was great reading that. So I just love being able to reconnect. But the group text from people you're going to see again on Monday, I find those to be a bit much. Peachy, the phone is ringing. So I'm guessing that our delivery from Wonder is here. Let me answer this quickly. Hello. All right, sir. I'm gonna come get the order. So, Pete, why don't you tell them a little about Christmas while I go get our food review?
All right. So, Stevie, we were talking about Christmas earlier on, and you know, like with my family, you know, with my Sarah and everything, like the family's got so much bigger, and it used to be just so simple of just buying maybe, you know, like, you know, 10, 15 different gifts. But when you start going to say 3 or 4 different events from Christmas Eve to Christmas, the amount of money that you spend, whether it was a $10 scratch off, but it's not just one, you got to buy 10 of them. And thank God they have those little lottery envelopes that you take out. But the amount of money that just goes through your hands in that 36-hour period, and I'm not even talking about leading up to, you know, the gifts for everybody else, but that last 36 hours, and I'm sure everybody agrees, it's like, oh, we're going to this house, oh, we got to bring something, whether it's a bottle of wine, whether it's a cookie platter, it just keeps going and going, and it's like almost like the text message, a little overwhelming to me. but going to so many different events where you have to bring something. It's like, can we just start a kitty at the one part of the year where it's like, all right, ready? Here's $500. You just put it out any which way you want and let that cover Thanksgiving, Christmas, St. Patty's Day, or going to somebody's house, because it does not stop with the amount of money that we spend throughout the holiday seasons.
I'm getting back into this work. Every time someone, when their grandmother graduates college or their third kid has a bar mitzvah or anything, there's a collection all the time. First day of work, she cough up $100. Now she cover all different those things for the year.
Well, Doc, and that goes back to like almost saying like we work in a building predominantly women that, you know, like everybody has children
and they're wonderful people too.
Absolutely, but it's $5 here, $5 there. Then let's have a Thanksgiving event. Let's do a Christmas event, and just off the small part of that alone, people don't understand. Every $5, $10 that you do throughout the whole year, and I almost want to keep track starting 2025 of how many times you do $5, $10, who's in a raffle, who wants this, someone's family unfortunately passed away, let's buy flowers. It doesn't stop.
It's absolutely relentless. You know what else doesn't stop, Peach? The Shaolin Sports food review. So I've been hearing a lot, Peach.
We're jumping in right.
Well, it's here. It's fresh. It's hot. We got to do it now.
That's
right?
the old bank across street from
That is the old Staten Island Savings, the Santander across from McDonald's on Forest and Broadway.
Okay.
They have a large menu. So, Peach, what we have here is the lemon pepper wings. I'm not sure where I'm going to go. I'm going to go with this guy right here.
I'll be honest. So, they look spicy. They're very
pepper,
big wings, by the way.
Do you very big. Yeah, I don't know how much is showing.
It's almost like a half a chicken. I'll be honest. I don't know where to start. I mostly need like a fork and knife.
I'm going to say right now, just looking at it, might be undercooked. But
by the way, Doc, second time. Give me some blue cheese for Christmas sake.
You know what? There's no blue cheese in this bag.
This is now the second time we got wings with no blue cheese.
There is some green stuff, which, if you know Ray Palmer, I'm not eating that, but... Okay. Now... DJ Stevie, if you want to jump in, we got lemon pepper here.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take one.
Stevie, coming to you.
All right. My favorite type.
See, I'm a drumstick guy. The wings, I feel like it's not skeevy, but I feel like I'm just trying to eat around. I try to want to think that I'm eating someone's body part, but you are.
Well, not a person, but
no, obviously not Dahmer here.
That chicken had a family though. Okay. So,
okay.
Go ahead, Pete.
I'll go first. I do like the salt on the outside. Very little. I'm going to say very salty. I'm not sold. I think this is where I go back, where the breading is just not for me. I like a naked wing. It's not a very high mark for me. Like fried food delivered is not easy to do. I get that. But for me, I'm going to 5.5, maybe.
Yeah, Peach. I'm a huge lemon pepper fan. I honestly, if you leave these in the fryer for 3 or 4 more minutes, might have a different score. But I'm not any higher than you. I'm not happy at all. The price was for 6 wings was over $12. That's $2 a wing. Yeah, no, this is no bueno. I'll go 5.9, a little higher. I mean, it isn't. I do like a breaded wing. I'll go 5.9. Not impressed whatsoever. This is called cast iron cornbread from Street Bird. I couldn't turn away cornbread. I love. Oh, Peach, that looks nice. Did they give us utensils? They did not.
No utensils, no blue cheese.
No utensils. I'm gonna break off a little piece of myself. Yeah.
No, absolutely, and no blue cheese. Once again, that's a staple.
Cast iron cornbread. This
now is that butter on here, Doc? What is this?
I hope so. Oh, okay. Wow. Oh yeah,
Stevie.
What do you got?
Cast iron cornbread.
Jesus.
Oh,
How do you eat them?
I just jumped in.
Like a savage?
Yeah, I mean, like no utensils. Like kind of that's how we got to do. I'll tell you what, the bag is nice. It's a nice
package. That cornbread is as good a cornbread as I've had in a long time. You want to send that back over here, Peach? I want to get back in there.
Yeah, listen, you pile butter on anything, it's good.
That's true too, but I'm not going to hold it back. It's 8.7 on the cornbread. I'm going to go a nice solid 8.7, Peach.
Cornbread. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Once again, you're a high number. It's in
This
the
is freaking
eights.
great.
I'm gonna say like an 8-1. It does get a little crumbly at the bottom. I think what they did was they had a little burn on the top with the butter. Like I said, put butter on it. Doc's going back for another piece of lemon chicken here.
Get that. We'll do one last item. I'd like to get, this place has like 9 restaurants in there in one, so a lot going on.
What is the green sauce actually?
Oh, you know what? I have no idea. I have to look that up on the thing. You know what, Peach? There's blue cheese in here, though. So these are just potato chips with blue cheese. I just wanted to see what they were.
I don't know if that's blue cheese, but
No, it says blue cheese. This is on the bag here.
I mean, they look
Potato
like
chips and blue cheese dip by Bobby Flay Steakhouse. So Bobby Flay chips. I thought they'd be like those fresh
no. These are
homemade
Lay's.
ones. No, these are might be not even Lay's.
These are just basic chips that they poured out of a bag. These were not like you go to like say Randall Manor, for example, where Stevie's down there, Chef Stevie's down there. Like
best,
you make fresh.
Oh my god!
French fries with the potatoes, and you make the fresh potato chips with like how they're supposed to be made. This is typical Bobby Flay of just putting his name on something, not realizing that it's really just a potato chip.
Okay. The blue cheese dip is not just blue cheese. He mixed it with something else to make it more of a dip as opposed to just regular blue cheese. That's impressive. I'm gonna give 2 scores here. The blue cheese dip itself is fantastic.
All right,
The chips are 1.5. 1.5, lowest score in history of Shaolin Sports. These are just below average, regular.
like those bag of New York style chips that you get.
I don't even want to give it that high. Those chips are great.
No, because they were
This is like the large bag of Pathmark no frills chips. Like this is trash.
You remember the no frills aisle where everything was white labeled and it was like a red and blue stripe,
Good times.
and if you went down that aisle, you were like, oh my god, they really have no money because now everything is just labeled as like a key food brand or what Costco does with Kirkland.
So the chips are a major disappointment. A good dip. Wings disappointing. The cornbread fantastic. Wonder Forest Avenue and Broadway.
Doc,
So
what did you pay for those chips, by the way?
the chips were $5. So not the biggest,
All right, so $4.50 too high.
Yeah. Well, the bag of chips probably cost you $1 these days. You know what? I'd pay $3 for that dip. So overall,
good dip.
We've had worse reviews. The wings, like I'm gonna save these extra 3 wings. I'm gonna bring them home, throw them in the air fryer, and maybe I'll film it later on and rescore it. I bet you a little more on the air fryer. These wings can be top notch. But all right, Wonder. I've heard mixed reviews, and I think I got mixed reviews here from Staten Island. So we talk about Christmas, Peach. It's nonstop. I just feel like the whole, my parents are divorced, so there's Christmas Day at my mom's, the next day at my parents', which largely the same people at both. And I just found the Christmas season to be a bit unbearable at times. But then you remember the little things. Like I took my nephew shout out Kojo Campbell, our boss, reached out to me with an opportunity to purchase some Knicks tickets for Christmas at a very fair price. And I took my nephew, flew home from Tennessee, Nashville, landed in Newark about 8 a.m., pretty much went straight to the Garden, took my nephew. What a great experience. Knicks played really well in a comeback win versus Spurs. Gonna go on a rant here. Victor Wembanyama, in my predictions, from seeing him live. If you've ever been to any sporting event, Stevie talks about the darts live. It's a great experience. Anything live will change your perspective, right?
Come on, Spolly boy! Yes! Double 12! That is the most amazing...
Victor Wembanyama, in a couple of years, will be putting up Wilt Chamberlain-like numbers. People don't like him shooting all the three-pointers. I just think in the future, the days where he makes 6 or 7 threes, he's going to score 50, 60 points. I think there's going to be seasons where he averages 35, 17 with 8 blocks. He is beyond the generational talent. He's still 21, 20 years old. Just from watching him, he still loses his balance. He's still a little weak in the legs. But the skill set and how he affects the game defensively, he stops shots from being born. People Brunson, great coming down the lane. He doesn't even attempt those floaters when Wembanyama, right? He gets his hands on everything. Victor Wembanyama is going to be the best player in the world, and we're a year or two away from seeing it.
All right,
he is special.
Here's my only negative. I watched a bit of that Philly game, and I saw Embiid got thrown out, and I think it was Draymond Green or somebody else had got a couple technicals and got reinstated, right? All right, you want to be that guy. You can't be a little, what female dog of just, taking a flop. You can't do flopping that early, that much in like the early part of your stages. Like if you saw like the Embiid, I'm not an Embiid fan. I think he's just what he does is just not good for the NBA product. He approaching the female ref and try to, dominate like with his size overbearing her. Like it just wasn't a good look as an NBA player being that big and trying to voice your aggravation of whatever foul was called. But you have to respect that the NBA refs and all refs in whether it's NFL or hockey or soccer, whatever it is, they earn that right to be there. You never approach, whether it's a male or female, of trying to tower over and express your aggravation for what it is.
All right. So Knicks, Wembayama, Peachy venting about Embiid, going Embiid. I think, in my opinion, Joel Embiid has the biggest bag of any center to ever play. And don't misquote what I'm saying. I just mean that his skill set from the 3-point line all the way down, his ability to handle the ball, his offensive skill package, things he can do is better than anybody else I've ever seen. And I'm standing by that statement.
I'm not taking away from his skill set.
Oh, of course.
But you have to understand, you have to be professional when you're playing in front of 18,000 people and your actions is going to have a reaction for what people are going to see. And it was not a good look at all. And especially when he had the black face mask on, to cover it, I guess, whatever injury he had, it just was not a good look. And I'm going to leave it at that. But moving on.
Saying that, you a shout out, Peach. You and Bridget worked and got your lovely daughter Layla. If you ever met Layla Timmons, she's like the coolest kid I've ever met in my life. More mature than I am at the age of 17. You're going to be driving an automobile around these days, thanks to mom and dad. Great job there, Peach. Must be really, how cool of a feeling is that to give your daughter something like that, like a car?
It was a tremendous surprise. And listen, I live with my it's going to be my wife. We're not on paper wife yet, but it's my wife. We're on home together, Sarah and me. We said, like not buying a sweatshirt or something, and being in contact with Bridget, my ex, but the mother of my child. We came up and said, you know what, she can't drive till July, but it's something that I want her to feel confident with at 6 months that she's going to drive, and on July 7th, her birthday, that she's going to be confident and knowing the road in this car. So that's that.
We expect a call-in, and the call-in is happening right now. So we're testing our technology. Let's tune in here. I'm not sure what's happening right now. Stevie O has some news broadcast playing in the background. We're working through some things here. DJ Stevie O. We're going to work back here, maybe call back our special surprise guest. Our special guest calling back again. Now, can Cormac hear us?
1 second. We'll try to patch him in.
Can we get this thing in the background off, whatever that is?
Yeah, I don't know why it's on.
Okay, so can Cormac hear us? I'm not sure. So we're going to, Stevie O's working on some, I want to make sure this is on the air.
So what happened, Doc, was that me and Stevie O, we had a dart match planned up, and I'll get to that in a little bit, but we do have on the line right now, we have Cormac Gordon, the owner of Duffy's Tavern, who's with us right now, and we're just going to test our system out. And it's just random that we called Cormac and said, you know what, Cormac, you're going to be a call-in right now, and we're just going to shoot it around and see how this works out. Doc?
So, Cormac, can you hear me? All right, Mac. So tell me, brother, how's your holiday season going, my friend?
So far, so good. How about you guys?
We were just ranting about the Christmas and all the responsibilities and the group texts and all that kind of fun stuff, but it was a good time, to say the least.
So Mac, we were discussing about the Christmas holidays, of how much the text messages become overhanded, of like how much comes through, and then all of a sudden we realize that every event you go through is, scratch offs and bottles of wine and cookie platters. And it's like you can never just win where you think your Christmas shopping is over and all of a sudden you get invited to an event and you never can go empty-handed, because if you're that empty-handed person, don't come in the house. And listen, we all like our cookies, but we don't need that much. But it's just becomes overwhelming. You have, 3 children, right? 3? Mac, you have 3?
Mac has, yes, 3 boys.
Right, Mac?
3 boys. Yep, 3 boys.
Can you hear him?
I can't hear Cormac,
Wait,
no.
Go ahead. Say it again.
We're working on this.
Yeah, I have 3 boys.
Yes. All right. So, Mac, Ready? For going to 2025, and before we get into just what your establishment is at Duffy's, what is your New Year's resolutions going to 2025 of, yes, this is what we're doing. We're going to a new year. Matt, give me one New Year's resolution that you would like to accomplish and not talk about your golf game because, listen, it's very good, but it can go with some work on some putting. But what do you think your New Year's resolution, if you can say right now, of what it would be?
To spend more time with the people I love.
That's a great answer from a great man. Gotten to know Cormac really well over the last few years. We're on tour together. Cormac, Duffy's. Before you owned it, big fan. Since you moved into ownership, huge fan. Just tell us about the restaurant in case someone's never heard of Duffy's, which is insane to me. But I know that Duffy's has the best burgers on Staten Island. They now have smash burgers. So please feel free to plug the restaurant any way you can. Let us know about Duffy's for this holiday season.
So Duffy's is turning 40 years old next year.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, that's huge.
I started working at Duffy's in 1985, and I worked there till about 1992. And my partner and my cousin, Ed Donovan, bought the place 5 years ago, right before COVID. Not great timing. But luckily for us, there was so many good people working there for such a long time that it made the transition much easier, I think, than in most cases when someone would have been taking over an existing business.
Wow. If you haven't been, if you haven't been in a long time, Cormac, you explain, because the back now, which you have the seating on the back, the outdoor seating out back, but you also have what's the term used? The barn, I believe, for the area in the back?
So we refer to it as the barn, and that was born out of COVID too. We could fit about 50 people comfortably in there, heated, so you can hold events out there during the winter. We take the windows out of it during the summer.
Great for fantasy football drafts, that kind of stuff too, as well, of course.
We do many fantasy football drafts. We have tonight we have a bar crawl that's coming through, about 50 people.
All right.
I know what one thing what Cormac did. He put his money where his mouth was, and he didn't just chintz out on it. He built that barn with, without outdoor seating where anybody, during COVID, you could just do a makeshift. You go back there, it's a relaxing atmosphere. There's not cars coming by. Like if you're on the middle of the street or something like that, it's quiet, but it's still like the ambience where he has the ceiling fans and he has the music playing and he has the TVs up there to watch sports and everything. And it's cozy and the food is always absolutely delicious. But that's something where the man found his heart to do something that he believed in. And I can't say anything in my life negative besides the fact that people should be there more. And it is a phenomenal establishment.
Well, I know that I'm biased, but I will say that we have a great burger.
It's the best.
I would say it's up there with anyone in Staten Island or New York City for that matter.
Well, you know what that means? That means that we have to have a non-bias. A burger will maybe have 5 different burgers in front of us.
Burger off?
Yeah,
like
where it's blind burger.
Blind burger off.
Yes,
I like this idea.
I think we do a blind burger off where no one knows where it's from. It's all going to be in the same tin. And I think you put the price in the pudding for what it is. And I think we bring in 4 other burgers. And I tell you right now, you're going to be right there.
That's why they pay you the big bucks, Peachy. You're full of good ideas.
So, Cormac, thank you for being the first ever calling guest of the Shaolin Sports Podcast. DJ Stevie working things out. Shout out to Cormac. Check out Duffy's, Forest Avenue, 718-447-9276. Again, 718-447-9276. Also available at Duffy'sTavernNYC.com. West Brighton Institution. Cormac, thanks so much for joining me, my friend. And good luck to Shane and his teammates in this afternoon's game.
Thanks very much, guys. I'm honored to be the first guest, and I'm sure you guys are going to do well. You're both very knowledgeable and super entertaining.
Thank you, Cormac. All right, so we've had our food review, Peach. We've had Cormac. We vented about Christmas, or we talked about Christmas. Merry Christmas. We say Merry Christmas, our belief, but Happy Holiday, whatever it is to you out there. It's Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever stuff I don't know about. I hope everybody out there listening is enjoying whatever it is to you during this holiday season. Me personally, my favorite part is not having to go to work. But anyway, and a big Noodle win today versus James Madison High School of Brooklyn at Erasmus Hall this afternoon. So shout out to my junior varsity team as well. So Peach, transitioning.
Nice win, by the way.
Thank you.
9-2.
9-2. Yeah, we're off to a pretty good start.
Nice job, Doc.
College football.
What an absolute disgusting.
Did Peachy, for the most part, now Notre Dame, I don't think covered on the back door end, but for the most part, Peachy last week predicted some blowouts, and there were. So, Peach, you were ranting to me a little earlier, so tell me your thoughts here on this college football first round.
Well, let me just say this, and I know people talk about it, but the college football playoff scenario, and I know they're going back to the drawing board because no one could have ever enjoyed any of those games actually watch. I understand that the Notre Dame final score was 27-17, but it was 27-3 with 4 minutes ago. It was garbage points, and the game was just so dominant. It was a waste of time watching it. I know we have a lot of Notre Dame supporters out there.
A lot of Notre Dame supporters in our neighborhood.
A lot of people that tune in to Notre Dame sports. Maybe their family went there, but maybe they just because they're Irish, they support Notre Dame Irish football. But all those 4 games, what an absolute disgusting, I'm going to say travesty for what it all came down to be. And you look at the Penn State game, 38-10 versus SMU. The Texas game, 38-24. And the Ohio State game, 42-17. Like, none of those games were ever relevant at any point. And I think now looking back, and I know you bashed maybe somebody has 3 losses, whatever, and Clemson had 3 losses, but they won the ACC championship. I get it. But now you look at it, and if you want to have the top 12 team, well, Alabama was ranked 11th, but they're not in it because the 3-loss team and there was other teams ahead of them. But I think moving forward, they can't just say, all right, it's automatic bids. Like Arizona State, like they got a bye at a 16 seed. Like, do you really think Arizona State can play against anybody else? Maybe, but we'll find out over this weekend. My biggest gripe is, Doc, so those 4 teams played. I get it. They got another game. They're not going to have any chance to experience a bowl game. Those were not bowl games. The game's moving now for those top 4 teams, or the top 8 for what it is. They're legit bowl games. So you lost the whole atmosphere of traveling, maybe potentially winning a ring, recruiting purposes, winning a trophy to win. I don't care if it's the Alamo Bowl that Colorado's playing in, or any other small Mayo Bowl. There's so many different Pop-Tart bowls. There's so many different bowl games out there. My point is, these 4 teams that now were in the college playoff scenario, they're done. They don't get a chance to go to any bowl games, and shame on like when Marshall was supposed to play in a bowl game, but they had 39 or 42, whatever the coach left, and then they got a Louisiana Tech team that is 5-7 playing a bowl game, and they still have the opportunity to win a ring. Now I don't know if they have a shot, but that's neither here or there because I think they play Navy or Army or whoever it is, but they're home right now watching every other bowl game go on with not the opportunity to win a ring or raise a trophy because they were part of the college football playoff scenario. So for me, it's almost like, it's bittersweet. Yeah, we can play we have a chance to go further to get to that next Fiesta Bowl, Cotton Bowl, Orange Bowl, whatever it is. But they went home with nothing, not a hat, not a sweatshirt, not a bowl, paraphernalia bag that they give. So I guess that's like looking at do you want to play in a big bowl game or be a part of the college football playoff scenario where, hey, now you have nothing, you're home. So that's my frustration, aggravation there. And I'm going to kind of leave it for what that is.
Yeah, so I think, and I do a little more research on it, but yeah, the bowl games are big. I happen to sit I went to the Knick game, as I mentioned, and behind us and in front of us and kind of all around us, dressed in the nice white sweatsuits, was the Oklahoma Sooners. Excuse me, I'm making that up. Wrong school.
Nebraska, thank you.
Nebraska Cornhuskers football team was in attendance, first of all.
Yeah, because they're playing in a Pinstripe Bowl versus Boston College.
And they have a week in New York. They get to go to a Knicks
Yankee
game
Stadium.
at Yankee Stadium, right? They're playing Boston College in a big time, in a bowl game. What do you want to call it? Big
the
time,
Pinstripe Bowl.
Pinstripe Bowl, right? So that experience is something special. And Yeah, you're right, Pete. I never thought about it from that perspective.
Like
Also, the schools themselves. The school goes to a bowl game, you get millions of dollars. The school itself. So, do you get that? Do you recoup that money by making the playoff? Is there a financial reward for making the playoff? My research on the internet was unable to find something that says that. So, interesting perspective. Pete, we're going to do this quick because we didn't talk about beforehand and we're a little behind schedule here. But I'm going to throw them at you and I want you to give me a pick. Penn State laying 11 against Boise. Who do you got?
Penn State.
Penn State to cover.
I know it. And by the way, I think that game's at Boise, where Penn State's laying 11 with a team that got a bye, right?
Yeah.
And
Penn
they're
State's the 6 seed, Boise the 3.
right. So now they're going to Boise State, or no, it's a bowl game, but it's a neutral site. But now another big favorite of a team that's a 6 versus a 3.
Well, that happens all the time. College basketball.
No,
sometimes
but it
the
shouldn't
11
happen.
seeds ahead of the 5.
Yeah, but Doc, if you're that good, no team should be an 11-point underdog where you're a higher seed. That just doesn't make any sense.
Hard to argue that. All right, we got the 5 seed Texas laying 13.5 versus your aforementioned Arizona State. Texas laying 13.5 in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. We got
Okay, righty. Once again, Arizona State gets a bye because they win the Big 12, and now another big spread where it just goes to show you of what they look at the conferences that you're giving almost a 2-touchdown point lay versus a team that got a bye. And by the way, they just played last week, so their team is now in a groove where they didn't have 2.5 weeks off, where they played in a real game, not playing against like the scout team and playing music louder. By the way, Texas is going to be flooded that game. The amount of support Texas has versus Arizona State. I mean, come on, Texas will buy 80,000 of those 100,000 seats.
all right. So are you laying the 13.5?
Absolutely.
Laying it. Okay, here's another one's going to upset you. 8 seed Oregon laying the 2.5. The favorite against number 1 seed Oregon. Who you got? Ohio State, Oregon. Ohio State's laying the 2.5.
Well, listen, I do like Oregon. I think they're a legit team. I think Oregon is better than Ohio State. I think it's the both programs, they sell out to everything they do. That I actually do like Oregon in that game. I think they're a legit team, and they should be a 1 seed for what it is.
Last one, Notre Dame. Notre Dame laying 1.5 versus Georgia.
Okay. Oh, finally.
-2, -1. Line's moving
Okay,
around.
but finally, another good game. I know Notre Dame's defense is very good, but it's Georgia. They just have so much, and I think don't get mad at me, Notre Dame fans.
Oh, they will.
Fine. It is what it is. I think Georgia mops them up.
We're recording this, so Peachy covered the college football, so we will see how those picks pan out. Mike Brown fired by the Kings. Just see that come across my screen here. Mike Brown did a really good job last year. Just kind of shows the NBA how quick things can happen. Mike Brown, I think a coach that evolved. Mike Brown was someone who was but coaching LeBron James teams, struggled early in his career, went to the Warriors, refined his craft, did really well with the Kings, but that's a surprising fire for me personally. I want to give 2 quick shout-outs. It's December 27th, and 2 very important people in my life, and yours as well, Peach. Campbell Elizabeth Neer turned 17 today and is driving a car around town, which makes me feel extremely old. My team, when we had one of our presses, I named Campbell the day she was born. In practice the next day, I put in Campbell, and we've been running Campbell ever since, and now she's driving a car around. So shout out to my niece, Campbell Elizabeth Neer. Congratulations to her. And also a big friend of the show and the program, Mark Cristoforo. His birthday as well today, December 12/27. Beautiful thing here, Peach.
Yes, I agree. Happy birthday to everybody.
All right, moving along. Let's coach Yankees really quick. We're updating on the Yankees all season long, or all podcast long. Goldschmidt's now going to play first base. Paul Goldschmidt, 1 year, $12 million, took less money from the Yankees than from other teams. Defensively, a stud. Offensively, big second half of the year last year. Hit the ball hard. The new analytics show that a lot of balls that he hit hard found gloves, things like that. They also showed a bunch of home runs that last year would have been home runs in Yankee Stadium were not home runs where the Cardinals play. I believe Busch Stadium. So Goldschmidt's been hired for first base, Peach. What do you think?
I'm not sold yet. I do like for what they did. I'm not a big fan of the 1 year contract. That means that they're just putting a Band-Aid on something at first. I would have liked somebody that more consistently for the infield, but I'm not against it, but I'm not fully sold yet.
I think that's the perspective of most. Yeah, Pete Alonso would have been a nice choice. Obviously, he cost many more years and many more millions. So they plug it with a former MVP and a guy who's produced. So hopefully, I always use Scott Brosius as an example, but a guy, hopefully he can produce. And then, so now Gleyber Torres signed with the Tigers today, 1 year, $15 million. Gleyber Torres had his problems. We also had his moments, and he owned the Orioles. So best of luck to Gleyber Torres in his new job. But that officially opens up either second base or third base. I think Nolan Arenado is the biggest name. I think if we don't get Arenado, we're going to have to go another way. So we'll see what the Yankees do going forward. But bullpen check, starting rotation check, first base check, outfield check. The Yankees have done a really good job, I believe, Peach, in this post Juan Soto world that we're living in.
Yeah, and I think that we're not done yet. I know Cashman is probably just looking for every angle to fill up the void for second and third. But it's interesting to see how would you not want to play for the Yankees? And I don't want to touch Soto anymore. I think we beat that dead horse, but I think the Yankees are moving in the right direction, and we'll see what goes on with that.
Still need second and third base, lose Gleyber, but it's been a really fantastic offseason. Cashman trying to keep the payroll under that luxury tax line. That $300 million is the big number. So trying to keep it there for the year, see what the Yankees do going forward. So, Pete, first time ever. I thought it was pretty cool. I love the NBA on Christmas Day. I love having the games on. I'm a big NBA fan. The NFL, they joined the party this year with 2 games. Now, the games weren't very good.
Once again, the NFL product is so bad. Even last night's game, what was the final score? 6-3 or something like that?
It was cold. Yeah,
I don't care if it's cold or not. But this NFL product, I get they do the scheduling to try to match up teams later on, but this is what the NFL has to do. You got to stop putting these games at 4:25 in, say, Green Bay, knowing that there's no sun. And I get the elements, but it's not enjoyable to watch teams that are playing in 0 degrees and the product is just not there. That's just me from an outsider looking in. I think the NFL product this whole year is just atrocious for what it is.
I don't disagree with some of the games, but I do love the competitive balance of the NFL this year. I love the badly injured Lions. I like the fact that there's no clear-cut Super Bowl team. I like the fact that what I don't like is Chicago Bears. That's one big dumpster fire, and you gotta hope that the Bears, for the first time in my adult life, like anything post Ditka, has been a disaster from a head coach perspective. If I'm them, you really have to go out there and you got to consider. I know he had his problems, but maybe someone like a John Gruden, you got to do something where you go out there and get a head coach who can get the best out of Caleb Williams. Right now, Caleb Williams is running around for his life and looks like an absolute bust. Other quarterbacks have shown us if you give him time to develop, good things can happen. But interesting to see what will happen from his development, especially with Chicago.
Doc, there's so many problems with even NFL kickers right now. There's NFL coaches right now that don't want anything to do with their kickers actually going for field goals. You're watching the Jets the other day. They're going for it on their own 20-yard line because no one has any confidence in kickers. Even last night, they had no confidence in a Bears kicker kicking a 57-yard or whatever the heck it was. But it seems to me ready? How about this? Terry Bridgewater, he's retired. You're trying to tell me that there's no other quarterback that they're having to back up Goff for Detroit, where he just won as a head coach with the Florida State.
He went back to his alma mater, Bridgewater. Took his team undefeated, and they won. They blew everybody out. Complete domination with Mr. Bridgewater. And then, gets a phone call from the Lion. A phone call. I should say, I don't know what a comb call is, but a phone call from the Lion.
Well, it could be combing the phone.
Combing the phone. Or combing the desert. We ain't found bleep. Anyway.
What about you guys? We ain't found shit.
Anyway. And, you go from winning a state championship to having a very, very realistic chance of winning a Super Bowl ring. And not only that, Pete, you're one, Goff hit away from becoming the starting quarterback for the Detroit Lions.
Well, I think that's why they signed him, because they're not confident with who they have as a backup. And imagine Terry Bridgewater, he just, we won the Florida championship, whatever. Here he is. I'm sure he's probably still practicing, throws the ball around. but tremendous job by the agent of finding him to go to Detroit, where they're that viable team in the NFC, where right now they're in a very good position, to get the 1 seed and to get a home bye and throughout the whole playoffs, where now you just have a chance to be a Super Bowl contender as the backup behind Goff. That's just tremendous within itself.
Yeah, the Lions, I think the Lions are the best team in the NFL. I think they have the most balance. I think their defense is strong. And if you could play for anybody in the NFL, I don't think there's anybody you'd rather root for, play for. Dan Campbell just has one of those personalities. Hendon Hooker is the backup quarterback listed for the Lions. And I remember Hooker from college, a strong college quarterback, but certainly Super Bowl on the line. You're going to go to a veteran like Bridgewater before you turn to Hendon Hooker, and especially Bridgewater being familiar with the offensive system. So we'll see the Lions. We'll see, the Eagles have played really well. I think there's some sleeper teams out there. Just quickly, MVP. Lamar Jackson has to have it in the bag by now, right? I mean, every statistical analysis shows he has 36 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Allen from the Bills having a great year, but I gotta believe that if you're just going by stats and the Ravens winning and everything, Lamar Jackson's having.
Well, listen,
unprecedented.
If you watch that Philly game and they would dominate the whole game, and give credit to Washington that came back and won the game, but if you're looking at that level, and nice job Giants, but look at Saquon Barkley, he's going to break. Well, it's going to be close. The NFL rushing record. Yes, they played 3 more games, but what he does is just tremendous, and I wouldn't rule out that he's in the running either. Like when you're first in all stats of a running back, in terms of rushing, touchdowns, what he's done for Philly, transformed that offense into something spectacular. And yes, a bad loss. They were up, I think they were up by 14 at one point. But Saquon right now, if you break the NFL rushing record, I mean, you got to look that. Why would not he be a possible running for Player of the Year?
Can't argue at all.
How could you?
It's just which way do you go? Quarterbacks tend to be the winners, but I mean, my goodness, Barkley's having it. I think Barkley and Derrick Henry, they've reset the running back market, and you're going to see running backs get paid the money they deserve. His position has been overlooked. I think teams have gone away from those workhorse running backs and gone to more rotations. Well, Henry's a workhorse. He's destroying. And then obviously Saquon Barkley's having the type of season that's just legendary. You see in the background our new logo. We're going to rotate a few different logos, but shout out to Callie Rose de Cristoforo, State Island Academy superstar, and one of my oldest niece, I believe, and just a fantastic young lady. She's a digital creator, so shout out Callie D for putting that together. Also, Stevie O, big hip hop guy. As an older man, I wanted to mention 2 things: new Snoop Dogg album, new Redman album, Redman Money Waters 2, spelled T-O-O, which I love. I gave it a full listen, and I give it a solid 9 out of 10. I think the new Redman album is fantastic, and the Snoop Dogg album, catchy, classy, and has a Method Man verse that tears the house down. So if you hip hop people out there, new music out there from Redman and from Snoop Doggy Dogg. And as an older guy, listen to music. It makes me, I enjoy hearing those guys more than the little Dirks and little this and little that's of the world out there.
I go back to remember they used to have when the MTV camera crews came into your houses and they used to
the cribs with Redman. Yep.
Did you see his crib?
It was great. It was like a 1-bedroom apartment. It was wonderful. Had a random guy sleeping on the couch.
Just ran. By the way, that wasn't fake. That was like a real thing.
They tried to set him up with a fake one. A lot of those were staged, and he refused. DJ Stevie O told a story about he ran the Redman at Home Depot down there in Park Hill, and just Stevie, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us, like how down to earth and cool he was with your son and everything else.
You hear me? You got me?
I believe so, Stevie.
Yeah, now you got me. All right. Yeah, one day I'm in Home Depot, Park Hill, Shaolin, 10304, I believe, right, from
That
the
is
album.
correct.
And I'm in there with my little boy. He was on the show last week. Shout out to him. He's in Florida right now in the sun. I'm up here freezing. But I go to the checkout counter, and Redman is next to me. And nobody recognizes him, even in Park Hill. I don't know how that's possible, but he's from Jersey, of course. But I think he lives in the projects or close to it because he's always over there. Anyway, he's buying potting soil, of all things, of course. And I say to my son, I say, you know who that is? And he's like, no, I don't know. Who's that? I'm like, that's your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. And Redman just bursts out laughing. Coolest guy I've ever met. gives my son a dap. Just a gentleman, really, just a nice guy, and of course, one of the greatest rappers of all time, if not the greatest. I think Jadakiss is, but that's just that's my opinion.
And if you don't get the reference there, your favorite rap, Eminem, DJ Stevie O Jr.'s big fan of Eminem. Well, Eminem lists, here's my list, and Eminem gives a list of his favorite rappers in one of his songs, and the first person he says is Redman. So
yeah, it goes Reggie, Jay-Z, Tupac, and Biggie, Andre from Outkast, Jada, Corrupt, Nas, and then me.
So he's ranking himself about 8th or 9th on that list. So false, by the way. Yeah, I'm listening to it. I think he's being modest, and I think if you're okay if you do that. Peach, we're gonna do Did You Know, and I'm gonna go first. We're speaking about Park Hill and the Home Depot over there, and PS 57, if you're familiar. That's on Palmer Drive, Palma, the same way as my name. Palmer Drive. My great grandfather Joseph Palmer was the borough president of Staten Island. He worked for Henry Ford. He worked for the Secret Service. He protected multiple presidents. Had a Ford dealership on Caston Avenue, like down where the bus depot is now on Caston Avenue. It used to be Palmer Motors. Now, I don't know who in my family gambled or did something to screw that up, because Lord knows if there was a car dealership in my family, I wouldn't even have gone to high school. I would have been working from the time I was born. But unfortunately, generational wealth skipped me, and I'm slugging along as a New York City teacher. But did you know that Palmer Drive in Park Hill was named after my great-grandfather? And did you know that he worked for Henry Ford, the Secret Service, a lot of cool different things. And I shout to Steve Highlands. He was Pat and Timmy's dad. We're playing golf one time. But by the way, playing golf just randomly. Had him play golf and had back surgery, had him played in 2 years. Had about 4 clubs with him. One was an old school driving iron, Stevie, like it was just a hunk of metal on a stick. I mean, anyway, we're playing golf. He had shot 68 through 16 holes, and he hadn't played in 2 years.
Absolute stick, by the way. Did you know he was my high school coach?
Did not know that.
And we won the island with Steve Highland as my coach. Amazing man. Love the guy.
Amazing guy, amazing player. So
Full circle.
Did you know Palmer Drive in Park Hill, where Home Depot is named after former borough president and my great-grandfather, who also lived in the Godfather house. The house in the Godfather is his house. That's the house that he grew up in. So a little Did You Know, Staten Island version from myself, Ray Palmer, flexing the Palmer family genes here on Staten Island. Peachy,
all right,
Did You Know?
So, did you know this? Now, I was in Stop and Shop last week, and there was a family in front of me, and I've never seen so much spam being brought. I've tasted it once, and it just skeeved me out. One of the worst meals I ever had. I had bison tartare over white onion in one of these fancy restaurants, whatever it was, and it reminded me of just raw meat. So I had to look it up, and I realized that in Hawaii, they sell 7 million cans of spam. It's almost like a delicacy for them, and they only have 1.4 million people on all the islands. Do you understand how much spam that is a year of 7 million cans? That means each one is acquiring and eating 6 cans of spam per person, like that. And that's maybe half don't even eat the spam, but they
sure.
Pull it.
Some are having 18 cans,
right?
Yeah.
But do you even know what spam is?
What it's made out of, no, but I disagree with you as far. Now, listen, do I want to have spam often? No, but once in a while, spam a little cooked up right. When
was the last time you had spam? Be honest.
Within a year. Within a year, I had there was spam in my cabinet, and I was one of the. I'm a bachelor, so there was the bachelor pad anyway as far as food, and it was in there, and I put it in the air fryer for a little bit, came out a little garlic. It was actually Am I saying it's something I want to order at a restaurant? No, but there are worse things in the world than spam, in my humble opinion.
No, I'm disagreeing. I think spam is absolutely disgusting. The whole fact that thing a piece of meat can sit in a can with all
for years.
No.
Yeah. Expiration date 2038.
It's like Chef Boyardee. You get the raviolis and meatballs, and you buy it today, and all of a sudden it's good for 2029. It's how is meatballs and a beef ravioli sitting in a can good? I know it's all the preservatives and for what it is, but I'm so out. It just skeeves me to even think about it. Actually, if you had it right now and I was starving, I would just say, you know what? I'll survive off water because that's what you need, and I won't eat for 2 weeks before I have a piece of spam.
Final segment, the thank you segment. We're going to hope to make this a staple. I want to give a thank you to CYO basketball. A few years back, I was got a phone call and was asked, would you like to coach the first grade team of Blessed Sacrament? My response was, who the bleep would want to do that? Just because coaching little kids this day and age can be tough, or any age can be tough, excuse me. Little kids, I coach a high school team right now. I want to strangle them half the time, right? But I accepted because my nephew was going to be on the team, and I wanted to make sure that my nephew got a fair shake and stuff like that. So I just want to say thank you to the entire Blessed Sacrament program, the CYO. I'm in the midst of year 4 with coaching along my good friend Rob Chi. Shout out Rob Chi and Loon Schwan. Loon Schwan wanting some great New Year's Eve deals. Loon Schwan will deliver it to the North Shore of Staten Island this week. So make sure to reach out to Loon Schwan for all your catering needs for the New Year's holiday. But really thank you to the CYO and Blessed Sacrament, Billy Altoff, and both the Billies over there at Blessed Sacrament. They both do really good things and allow us to coach. And shout out to the boys. They won today. My team played in Brooklyn, so I missed our Christmas tournament. We won both games of the Christmas tournament today and took down first place in the 4th grade division. And I know that our kids we've struggled. We've had some losses. That brings us to, I think, 4-9 or 4-10 this season. But I'm really proud of those boys. And it just goes to show that, you know, the team plays better when I'm not around. So I think Coach Chi and I got to talk. Maybe I got to move to become the assistant coach and sit down, and he's got to be the head coach here because obviously that's, I think, his 3rd win without me there. So he's 3 and something without me around. So shout out to Rob Chi. I don't want to give the boys by name because I might forget one, but shout out to all those kids and just all they do. I really enjoy the CYO product. Sometimes you can get frustrated with certain things, and sometimes adults don't know how to act. But the bottom line is that, you know what, I have a picture in front of me now. So shout out to my guy Andrew and Bones and Gregory and Brian and Jaden and Benny and Carter, who were there today. And I guess someone was missing because we have 8 and a 7 in the picture, but I'm blanking out right now. But shout out to my guy Matt. I don't know where my man Matt is, but Matt missed out on this one. But shout out to you, Matt, and all your families. Shout out to the parents of these kids. I don't get yelled at during games. I don't get questions after the games. All I get is love and support. And it's been a really fun 4 years watching these kids develop as players. And I'm really proud to be a part of this Titans family over at Blessed Sacrament. So thank you to the CYO and the Blessed Sacrament Titans. Peach?
All right, so obviously you want to give a shout out to a thank you and a shout out to obviously my Sarah, my children, Luca, Harper, Layla, and for Stevie O and for you, that's the initial shout out. But I want to give a shout out and thank you to all the people that reach out to what we are planning for 2025, of whether it's they want to be sponsors, they want to come on and be part of the podcast, and they wanted to just showcase their love and support for who we are. So my thank you of finishing up 2024 is for the people that believe and they trust in the system that we are establishing and moving on for 2025, the love that we get. And I'll give a short little just thing the other day. I saw George Siller. I was sitting down reading the paper.
Legend.
I was sitting down reading the paper in the Manor Coffee Shop. By the way, you can't beat the place.
Love the Manor Coffee Shop. Back in business, had covered from the fire. Love Manor. The best breakfast on God's green earth.
And by the way, best breakfast and best price. And it's, I'm reading the paper, and George Siller walks up and he's like, Peter Simmons. And we're just talking for a few minutes. We're reminiscing about the old All-Star games with me, Tommy Sliger, Mark D, George, Mickey. There was a bunch of us on that. And he was like, Shaolin Sports. He goes, it is something that it's lovely to hear. It's, you know, like the podcast and what we do. But that's just a complete for what we believe in our hearts of where 2025 is going to take us. We have so many big events. We have people and guests. We have things that we're going to travel to. We have games locked in. We have sports programs locked in. So I'm thankful for that. People believe in Stevie O for what he is as a producer. He works tremendous hours. And Doc, for you, that we talk endless hours, and it brought another friendship back, that we go back 30 years. So I'm thankful for where we are Shaolin Sports and where we are as our own little family, that people don't realize how much work goes into it, how much money goes into it. And that's what I'm grateful for, finished up 2024.
So, Pete, you mentioned sponsors, and we are interested. We are looking to get sponsors for the podcast itself. We're also looking to accept sponsors and we're going to be traveling the neighborhood in the coming days to reach out to some people and see if they want to join the wave. But if you want to get ahead of it, You can reach out to us directly, or our email is shaolinsports1@gmail.com. You can email either one of us directly through that email. Our phones, we're not hard to track down. If you ask around the neighborhoods, you can surely get in touch with any one of us for sponsorship opportunities. Believe me, we are not trying to, we all have jobs, we're all city workers. We're not trying to pay our mortgage with this. We're trying to maybe just get back the money invested into the program and maybe make a few bucks along the way if that's possible. But our goal is not to monetize. Our goal is to provide entertainment once a week. Shout out to Mosey and the people at Jody's Club Forest. Shout out to my guy Dave Shea and Kettle Black, and shout out to all. Shout out to Cormac Gordon for calling in today. Cormac Gordon, Duffy's the best in the industry.
But even like Daydream,
my guy, I was just saying, my guy John Venturella making
Mills,
the move soon. Mills, and we still haven't gone to dinner yet. Steve. We got to work on that.
There's so many. We can go on and on. But
and we want to do, and we're naming all the North Shore stuff. But the people at Joyce's, by the way. I mean, if there's someone that could maybe throw a few punches and fight it out with Duffy's Burger, would be Joyce's. Joyce is just Mr. O'Toole. Joyce's is a fantastic establishment.
Doc, we also have to give more Catholic. With Mr. Ponce, he reached out. We know people at St. Joe's by the Sea, Monsignor Farrell, women's sports. They all reach out to us in a different way, and it's really
been really heartwarming, hasn't it?
It really has, and I'm blessed that we're able to do this, and we can't thank enough for everybody that's supporting Shaolin Sports.
So we're a month in. Sponsors, please feel to reach out as we're going to continue to grow. We got to buy more stuff. DJ Stevie O gives us a laundry list of things he needs, and we got to try to provide it. This shout out to Stevie O. He's a one-man band. The text message will be, Stevie O will be very scientific and fancy. I'm somewhere in the middle, and Peach is a caveman, and we kind of build it up through that from a technology standpoint. And I think we all bring something to this show.
Doc, I'm just gonna have to bring this up real quick. So I came down at 3:00 today because I promised Stevie that I was gonna play him in darts. Now Stevie has 5 different dartboards up, and listen,
not being sarcastic, there's dartboards everywhere.
Listen, he waxed me. I beat Junior the other day. He was not happy with it. The text message went out. He was like, "Oh no, we're gonna play. And listen, Stevie beat me bad the other day after I beat his son. And my goal was just to try to be competitive. Now I'm not a dart player.
Here we go.
But here we go. Guess what happened? Ray was here to witness it.
I saw it.
So he beat me 7 games. But guess what? I did take 1 game down. So that's I'll take the 14%.
And I saw it. Listen, they were playing cricket. Peachy needed 2, and Stevie needed 3, and Peachy stepped up to the line and knocked that bull right home. So
absolute fair play to Petey.
Listen, he did get the Ganuba wax out after, and then it wasn't even a competition after because he just started getting frustrated. So I told himself, he actually was hitting himself in the head, which I was like, this is just getting awkward.
Yeah,
but
I do that.
This is what he does.
I want to congratulate you. You did great. You played
Listen, I want to
great.
congratulate you for waxing me, but
Yes.
listen, I do have.
I'm proud of you.
I do have beating your son and you in your own home.
Yes.
So that will go down. So at least I have a win-win.
You're 1 in 32 against me. Congrats.
That's fine. I'll take 1 in 32. You only got to beat somebody once.
Dart legend, my guy Jay Harrell. He knows. Last time we matched up in darts, he knows what happened. I took him right down.
Jay
Anyway,
don't miss. Jay does not miss.
Jay does not miss, but one day, in one shining moment down at Black Dog in 2005, whatever it was, Ray Palmer took Jay Harrell down.
You only remember the one.
I haven't played him since. That's it. I'm ending this streak there. That's for sure.
Listen,
so we're going overtime. We're going to wrap this thing up. Shaolin Sports. Shout out to Ricky Silks. We're going to offer us some new music and send him some new stuff. We're going to work on that for next week. We're going to bring you the next show in 2005. We're wrapping up 2024. I'm Ray Palmer alongside DJ Stevie O and the superstar Peachy Timmons. Thanks for tuning in. Sponsors, feel free to reach out. It's been another successful, fantastic, beautiful broadcast. We're going to play the outro music. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. All that good stuff. Shaolin Sports signing off. Number 1 in the
welcome
books.
to
Let's go.
Shaolin Sports. Here we break it down. Local heroes from legend everywhere. The brand, Ray Palmer and Pete bringing heat to your ears from Shaolin vibes. We gon' conquer our fears. DJ Stevie on the mix. Keep the rhythm tight. From the court to the field, we gon' shine bright. Shaolin Sports. We got the passion. From the streets to the big league. It's the real no fashion. Tune into the hustle. Feel the drive and pride. On this podcast journey, we'll turn the tide.